My name is Dr. Tom Rofrano from the Natural Medicine Clinic in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. And today I'm going to talk to you about the dark side of kefir. Yes, that's right. Kefir is an amazing superfood health drink that if you go online, there's hundreds of articles from health bloggers, advertising all over the place on how great it is, and kefir can be good for you. It absolutely can help a lot of people. And on the other side, however, on the other side of the coin, there are people that don't do well with it at all. And lately, I've been running into patients that have had real issues with kefir. So I thought you should at least be aware of what's going on. So what is kefir? It's a fermented milk drink that's been around for centuries. It originated near Russia. And what it is that they use, they add kefir grains to milk, you ferment it, and kefir grains are a combination of bacteria and yeast. And that cultures and ferments and creates probiotics. And it's supposed to be good for your digestion, for irritable bowel syndrome, for your skin, for your immune system. It's supposed to help with allergies and even fight cancer. I mean, these are all the things that you read about online on all the things that kefir is supposed to be great for. So I tried kefir years ago. After reading all this about it, I tried it out and I just felt bloated and gassy and had loose stools. So I just didn't do well with it at all. So I thought, well, maybe it's just me, and didn't give it another thought. But then lately, like I said, over and over and over again, I'm seeing more patients that have had issues with it. And one was just a couple of weeks ago. I spoke to one of my patients who she came to me in the past for acne. She had severe acne after, well, she didn't have acne at all. She was in her early 20s, but then she went off to a semester abroad in Italy, and anyway, consumed a lot of bread, pizza, pasta, wine, beer, all that, and then had severe acne. So after speaking with her and putting her on the free diet, which is a diet, proprietary diet I came up with that's free of all the common allergens, and it helps clear up a lot of chronic health issues like digestive issues, skin, fatigue. And she went on that, and along with some supplements and probiotics, and her skin completely cleared up. Now here it is years, sometime later, and I saw her in November, and her skin, she told me the story that her skin flared up tremendously, and I'll post a picture of it right here. And it started after she was consuming kefir daily for 2 weeks. And it was actually not even a dairy allergy. It was cashew kefir, so it wasn't like she was sensitive to dairy. But she has a known reaction to yeast, and she's reacted in the past very badly to beer and kombucha. Both caused the same issues with her skin, and now kefir. So when she told me that, I was, did a little research, and interestingly enough, kefir has yeast in it, which she's highly sensitive to. Unlike yogurt. So yogurt has bacterial cultures, as you know, probiotics, but kefir has bacteria and yeast. So the point is, if you have a yeast sensitivity, then kefir can make your issues a lot worse. So as far as how do you know if you have a yeast sensitivity? Well, common signs of Candida or yeast overgrowth or yeast sensitivity are digestive issues, skin problems like eczema, hives, also brain fog, anxiety, chronic aches and pains. I mean, there's a whole host of symptoms for yeast overgrowth, but the main ones typically are digestive, brain, like brain fog, and skin, and any fatigue. So those are the main things, but like I said, there's a whole host of them. So if you have yeast issues, which all our patients coming in with many chronic health problems have yeast overgrowth, so they typically don't do well with kefir. And in the free diet, in the avoid column in phase 1, we avoid things like kefir and kombucha and anything with yeast in it. And at the end, if you want to complimentary copy of phase 1 of the free diet, we'll put a link here, and you can just sign up for that, and we'd be happy to send you a copy of that. And then why I decided to talk about this today, because this week I had another patient that I was speaking to, and she had been doing great. She'd been on the free diet, phase 1, 2, 3, was doing really well with her fatigue issues, digestive, skin, all that. And then she started having indigestion, just not feeling right, bloating, cracked heels, really dryness and peeling in the skin on the bottom of her feet. Even some of her fingers the tips started to crack and nail beds. So I was asking her what she had changed. So she had been eating kefir daily, because I'm like, well, why are you doing that? Well, it's so great for you. She has yeast issues, and it's supposed to be so great for Candida and for abdominal issues and for skin issues and all the things she was having. She starts eating it, and her symptoms get all flared up. So the point is, if you have sensitivities to yeast, kefir is probably not a good option for you. The other thing is, there's different types of kefir, many different brands, many different types. So some have some commercial grade kefir that you buy in the bottles, have added sugar, sometimes high fructose corn syrup and cornstarch and colorings, and it could have 5 to 25 or more grams of sugar in a serving. So you could see, if you have digestive issues or yeast overgrowth, that having all this sugar is the opposite of what you want to do. And on top of it all, like I said, the yeast culture's in it, not good. Now there are, however, some good quality kefir that have better strains in it and less problematic yeast than others. So you may do fine with some kefir cultures and not others. There's probably hundreds of different brands and types, and some you can make at home, and you can buy your own kefir grains. But just be aware, just like with any sensitivity, whether it's gluten, dairy, yeast is one of the most common food sensitivities I see, which is why in the free diet phase 1, we're avoiding all the common food allergens, including gluten, grains, dairy, and yeast and sugar and others. But yeast is right at the top of the list, because that causes so many issues. So if you are sensitive to it, then kefir, not a good idea. And then when we go into phase 2 of the free diet, where we start adding foods back in, once someone's feeling really great, then we can add back in things like kefir and see how you react to it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. Let me know what your experience is with kefir. And you can, the link below, if you want a complimentary copy of the free diet phase 1, check out that. Oh, and as an alternative, as an option to kefir. So the reason why kefir is supposed to be so great is because of the probiotic cultures. What I recommend and do myself instead is take a good quality probiotic. This way you have all the benefits of the healthy bacterial cultures without the downside. I mean, there's many different brands on the market. I mean, if you go to Whole Foods, there's 50, 60 or more different options. And I mean, so there are definitely some good quality ones you can get out there. Some not so good. I've researched this over the years, hundreds of different products, and have used about the same. And really came up with a few that I really like in our natural medicine formula line. So anyway, that is a much better option, in my opinion, taking probiotics, especially if you have yeast issues. I would start there, so you don't run into some of these potential risks if you have yeast sensitivities. All right, well, thanks for joining me today. Really appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you next time.